My dear friends, before I begin, I want to ask you a simple question. How many of you woke up this morning with a genuine smile on your face? Not the smile you wear for others, but the one that comes from within. A smile that says, today, I choose to be happy. You see, happiness is not something that happens to us by chance. It's something we must consciously create. And to create it, we must push ourselves every single day. Most people think happiness is waiting for them somewhere in the future, in a better job, a bigger house, or a perfect relationship. But the truth is, happiness doesn't come from what we get, it comes from what we give. It's not found in possessions, but in perspective. You can wake up with everything you ever wanted and still feel empty, or you can wake up with very little and still feel grateful. The difference lies not in your circumstances, but in your choices. Happiness is not something that magically appears when life finally becomes perfect. It is a conscious decision we make every single day. Every morning, when you open your eyes, you are given two choices: to let the day control your emotions, or to control your day with your mindset. The truth is, happiness doesn't wait for the right job, the right partner, or the right time. It begins when you decide that no matter what comes your way, you will not allow circumstances to steal your peace. Life is not about waiting for storms to pass. It's about learning to smile, dance, and stay grateful even while it rains. Choosing happiness doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means having the strength to rise above negativity and to see light even when the world feels dark. When you make happiness a choice, you reclaim your personal power. Too often, people hand over their emotional control to others. They let someone's opinion, someone's mistake, or someone's behavior decide how they feel. But when you choose happiness, you take back that control. You tell yourself, my peace of mind is not for sale. This mindset transforms the way you experience life. You begin to notice that happiness is not in big achievements, but in small, consistent decisions. Choosing gratitude over complaint, calm over chaos, kindness over ego. Every day you make those little choices, you shape your reality into something more peaceful, more joyful, and more fulfilling. Happiness as a daily choice requires awareness. It's easy to get lost in the noise of the world. Social media, stress, deadlines, and constant comparison. Everywhere you look, someone seems to have more success, more money, more beauty, more recognition. But the secret to lasting happiness is realizing that comparison is the thief of joy. The moment you stop comparing your journey to someone else's and start focusing on your own blessings, you begin to feel lighter. You understand that your happiness is not measured by someone else's progress. It's measured by your peace, your gratitude, and your growth. There will always be challenges, unexpected problems, disappointments, or moments of sadness. You can't control those things, but you can always control your reaction to them. Choosing happiness is not about ignoring reality, it's about mastering it. It's about saying, yes, this is hard, but I will not let it define me. When you train your mind to see opportunity in adversity, you stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the creator of your emotional state. Every challenge then becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes a stepping stone, and every mistake becomes an experience that strengthens your perspective. The beauty of choosing happiness daily is that it creates momentum. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. It's like building a muscle. At first it feels uncomfortable and forced, but with time it becomes natural, effortless, and deeply rewarding. You start to wake up with a sense of calm. You begin to see problems as temporary and blessings as abundant. You realize that life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. The simple act of choosing happiness gives you control over your emotions, your focus, and your energy. The greatest truth is that happiness isn't something you find, it's something you become. It's not a distant goal to chase, but a mindset you cultivate with daily effort. It's waking up each morning with gratitude, facing challenges with courage, and ending each day with peace. When you push yourself to be happy, even when life tests your patience, you grow stronger, wiser, and more centered. You understand that happiness isn't about having everything you want. It's about appreciating everything you already have. Every single day becomes an opportunity to create joy, to spread kindness, and to live with purpose. Happiness, after all, is not an event, it is a decision. One that begins with you today, right now. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces that can transform the way we experience life. It is the quiet realization that even amidst challenges, there is always something to be thankful for. When we learn to focus on what we have rather than what we lack, happiness begins to flow naturally. Gratitude doesn't change our external circumstances overnight, but it deeply changes our internal world. It shifts our attention from scarcity to abundance, from complaint to appreciation, from stress to serenity. The truth is, happiness and gratitude walk hand in hand. One cannot exist meaningfully without the other. In today's world, where speed, ambition, and comparison dominate, people often forget to pause and appreciate the blessings they already possess. They chase after what's next, believing that joy lies somewhere in the future, in the next paycheck, the next vacation, or the next milestone. But those who live with gratitude know that happiness is not a destination, it's a way of traveling. When you begin to count your blessings, you start noticing the countless little gifts life offers. A smile from a stranger, the warmth of sunlight, a healthy body, a loving family, or even the strength to face another day. Gratitude doesn't need perfection, it only needs awareness. The magic of gratitude is that it rewires the mind to focus on positivity. The more you express thankfulness, the more your brain learns to seek out reasons to be happy. It's a beautiful cycle. Gratitude breeds happiness, and happiness fuels more gratitude. It is a practice that brings contentment even when circumstances are not ideal. When you wake up in the morning and start your day with thoughts of appreciation, you set the tone for everything that follows. You see opportunities instead of obstacles, lessons instead of losses, and progress instead of problems. The external world may remain the same, but your perception changes, and that changes everything. Gratitude also has the power to heal. It softens anger, reduces anxiety, and brings peace to the heart. When you start focusing on what's right in your life, you stop giving unnecessary energy to what's wrong. You become calmer, more balanced, and more compassionate. People who live with gratitude are not free from pain. They simply refuse to let pain define them. They understand that every setback carries a lesson. Every challenge builds resilience. And every moment, good or bad, contributes to their growth. Gratitude teaches us that even in loss, there is learning. Even in struggle, there is strength. Practicing gratitude is not just about saying thank you. It's about feeling it deeply. It's about living in a state of constant awareness that life is a gift. It's easy to appreciate big achievements, but true gratitude is found in the smallest things: the breath you take, the laughter you share, the love you receive, and the peace you create. It's a choice to see beauty where others see routine. When you live this way, even ordinary days begin to feel extraordinary. Gratitude turns simple moments into sacred ones and transforms everyday life into a celebration. When you cultivate a heart full of gratitude, you also begin to influence others. Your presence becomes uplifting, your energy becomes magnetic, and your words begin to inspire. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate appreciation, because gratitude carries a vibration of warmth and sincerity. It teaches us to connect more deeply, to forgive more easily, and to live more fully. It reminds us that happiness isn't found in having more, but in being more aware, more present, more thankful. The real beauty of gratitude is that it doesn't depend on how much you have, it depends on how much you see. It's a mindset that allows you to find joy in the simplest corners of life. The more you practice it, the more your perspective changes. And soon you will realize that happiness was never something missing from your life. It was always there, waiting to be unlocked through the power of appreciation. Gratitude, when practiced daily, becomes the bridge between where you are and the joy you seek. It turns every moment into a reason to smile and every day into a reminder that life, in all its imperfection, is still a blessing. Taking control of your emotions is one of the most empowering choices you can make in life. Too often, people allow external circumstances or other people's behavior to dictate how they feel. They give away their inner peace by reacting to every opinion, every disappointment, and every obstacle. But true emotional strength begins when you decide to be the driver of your own emotions, not the passenger. It's about realizing that while you can't always control what happens around you, you can always control how you respond within you. This awareness transforms the quality of your life. It gives you balance in chaos, calm in conflict, and confidence in uncertainty. When you rely on others for your happiness, you make your peace conditional. It becomes dependent on how people treat you, what they say, or how they behave. And the truth is, no one can live peacefully under such conditions because the world will never be perfectly kind or fair all the time. People will misunderstand you, situations will challenge you, and things won't always go your way. But when you become emotionally independent, you stop waiting for others to create your peace. You create it yourself. You learn that your emotions belong to you and no one else. They are your responsibility, your strength, and your power. Being the driver of your emotions doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means managing them with awareness and maturity. You allow yourself to feel pain, anger, or sadness, but you don't let those emotions control your behavior or define your day. You observe them, understand them, and then let them pass. You realize that emotions are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. The ability to respond calmly instead of reacting impulsively becomes your greatest superpower. In that space between reaction and response lies your freedom. The freedom to choose peace over chaos and understanding over frustration. It takes conscious effort to reach this level of emotional mastery. It begins with self-awareness, understanding what triggers you, what drains your energy, and what brings you peace. Once you recognize these patterns, you gain the ability to pause and choose a better response. You stop saying, "They made me angry," or "that situation ruined my day," because you understand that nothing outside you has that kind of power unless you give it permission. You start reclaiming your emotional control little by little, one mindful choice at a time. Emotional control also brings clarity to your relationships. When you no longer react impulsively, communication becomes healthier, conflicts become easier to resolve, and understanding deepens. You stop expecting others to fill emotional voids that only you can fill. You start showing up with stability and strength rather than with neediness or resentment. People respect those who are calm and grounded because such energy brings comfort and trust. You become a source of balance, not only for yourself but also for those around you. There will still be moments when your patience is tested and your peace feels fragile. Life has a way of presenting situations that challenge even the strongest minds. But every time you choose to respond with grace instead of anger, you strengthen your emotional muscles. You begin to trust yourself more. You realize that peace is not something that happens when everything is calm. It's something you maintain even when everything is chaotic. That's what it means to be the driver of your emotions. When you master your emotions, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You no longer let temporary feelings cause permanent damage. You stop overthinking, overreacting, and overjudging. Instead, you begin to approach life with patience, perspective, and wisdom. You focus on solutions instead of problems, understanding instead of blame. The world around you may still be unpredictable, but your inner world becomes your sanctuary, a space of calm strength that no one can take away from you. This mastery is not built overnight. It grows with self-discipline, reflection, and practice. But every day that you choose to stay calm when chaos invites you to lose control, you take another step toward emotional freedom. You begin to see that peace is not found by changing others or the world. It's found by mastering yourself. And once you become the driver of your emotions, happiness stops being a fragile feeling and becomes an unshakable state of being. Happiness is not something that simply falls into your lap. It requires effort, awareness, and consistency. It's not always natural or automatic to feel happy, especially when life challenges you. But that's exactly why it's powerful when you make the effort to cultivate it. True happiness is built through conscious choices and small daily actions that shape your mindset. Just like building physical strength requires regular exercise, building emotional strength requires daily commitment. You must push yourself to see the brighter side, to focus on solutions instead of problems, and to look for meaning even in difficult moments. That effort becomes the foundation of lasting joy. Every day presents 100 reasons to be frustrated and just as many reasons to be grateful. The difference lies in what you choose to focus on. People often wait for external situations to align before they allow themselves to be happy. A better job, more money, approval from others, or a perfect environment. But happiness doesn't come after success, it creates success. When you push yourself to stay positive, you open your mind to creativity, resilience, and motivation. You start performing better, thinking clearer, and living more fully. Happiness becomes a fuel that drives growth, not a reward you wait for. There will be days when happiness feels effortless, when things go your way, when life flows smoothly, when smiles come naturally. But those days don't define your emotional strength. The true test comes on the difficult days, when everything feels heavy, when nothing seems to go as planned, and when negativity feels easier than hope. Those are the moments when you must push yourself, not to fake a smile, but to find reasons to be grateful even within pain. That's what separates momentary happiness from inner joy. The ability to rise emotionally, even when the world pulls you down, is what gives happiness its strength. Pushing yourself to be happy doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending they don't exist. It means facing them with courage and maintaining perspective. It's about reminding yourself that challenges are temporary, but your attitude is permanent. When you actively choose optimism, you train your mind to see possibility instead of limitation. You become more solution-oriented, less reactive, and more resilient. This effort builds emotional endurance, helping you handle future struggles with calm and clarity. Each time you make the decision to stay positive, you're not just choosing happiness for the moment, you're strengthening the foundation for future peace. One of the greatest misunderstandings about happiness is that it's a passive emotion. In reality, it's an active practice. It requires discipline to maintain positivity when negativity surrounds you. It takes strength to control your reactions when others try to bring you down. It demands mindfulness to silence self-doubt and focus on what truly matters. But that effort pays off because it changes how you experience everything. The same event that might have once frustrated you now becomes an opportunity to grow. The same criticism that once hurt you now becomes motivation to improve. Effortful happiness transforms pain into progress. When you push yourself to be happy, you begin to influence your environment. Your positivity starts to affect others, your family, your friends, your colleagues. People feel calmer and more hopeful around those who radiate happiness with authenticity. You create a ripple effect that uplifts others, even when you're unaware of it. Happiness, when practiced through consistent effort, becomes contagious. You inspire others not by what you say, but by how you live, with strength, composure, and a quiet sense of joy that cannot be shaken by circumstances. The most important thing to understand is that effortful happiness is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's not about being cheerful all the time, but about refusing to let negativity take permanent control. Some days your happiness might look like laughter. On others, it might look like calm acceptance. Either way, what matters is that you keep trying. You keep pushing yourself to see good, to find meaning, and to stay grateful. Over time, these small, deliberate efforts create a strong emotional foundation that no storm can destroy. Happiness becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a habit, a mindset, and a way of living that reflects strength, discipline, and inner peace. Challenges are an unavoidable part of life, and no one can escape them. Yet, the way you face those challenges determines the quality of your life and the depth of your happiness. When difficulties arise, most people view them as interruptions, as moments that steal their peace or delay their progress. But those who truly understand the meaning of growth see challenges as opportunities to evolve, to learn, and to strengthen their inner character. Every obstacle carries a hidden lesson. Every setback holds a seed of strength, and every failure teaches something that success never could. The journey to happiness isn't about avoiding problems, it's about developing the resilience to face them with grace. Life will never be a straight path. It will test your patience, push your limits, and challenge your beliefs. But those moments of struggle are the ones that shape who you truly are. If everything were easy, you would never discover your potential. It's only when life becomes uncomfortable that you are forced to grow beyond your boundaries. Every challenge demands a new version of you, one that is wiser, stronger, and more self-aware. When you begin to look at hardships through this lens, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That simple shift in mindset turns pain into power and struggle into self-mastery. Happiness is often misunderstood as a life without pain or struggle. But real happiness comes from the ability to stay calm and hopeful even in the face of adversity. It's not about pretending to be okay. It's about having faith that you will be okay. Every challenge, no matter how difficult, has an end. Every storm eventually runs out of rain, and when you push yourself to endure with patience, you find that the pain you once feared becomes the foundation of your strength. It teaches you resilience, gratitude, and empathy. The people who are the most peaceful and joyful are not those who never suffered, but those who learn to suffer gracefully. When challenges come, your first instinct may be to resist, to question, or to run away, but resistance only multiplies frustration. Growth begins when you accept reality as it is, and then choose to respond with courage. That choice, to face rather than flee, builds your emotional muscles. You begin to realize that the power to overcome lies within you. Even when you cannot control what happens, you can always control how you react. That control is the key to emotional maturity. It's what allows you to remain steady while the world around you shakes. It's what gives you peace in the middle of chaos. Each challenge is an invitation to practice patience, humility, and faith. It strips away arrogance and teaches you empathy. Because once you have endured difficulty, you understand the pain of others. Challenges make you more human, more compassionate, and more grounded. They remind you that happiness is not about escaping reality, but about embracing it fully, the good, the bad, and everything in between. When you begin to see challenges as necessary for your evolution, they lose their power to scare you. Instead, they become stepping stones that move you closer to wisdom and fulfillment. It's important to remember that no challenge lasts forever. Time changes everything. What seems unbearable today often becomes the reason for your gratitude tomorrow. The pain that once broke you may one day become the story that inspires someone else to keep going. That is the beauty of hardship. It transforms you quietly, teaching you lessons that comfort cannot. And when you finally rise above what once seemed impossible, you carry a deeper appreciation for life. You stop taking peace for granted. You learn to value the calm after the storm because you remember what it took to reach it. Facing challenges with courage and resilience gives your happiness depth. It becomes more than just a fleeting feeling, it becomes wisdom. The strength you build through difficulties becomes your protection, your confidence, and your peace. You no longer fear what lies ahead because you have already proven to yourself that you can endure. Every challenge, no matter how painful, becomes a chapter of growth in your story. A reminder that even in darkness, light can be found if you are willing to keep walking forward with faith. Happiness is not meant to be an occasional visitor that appears only when life is perfect. It is meant to be a consistent companion that walks with you through every season of life. When you make happiness a daily habit rather than a rare emotion, you begin to live with greater balance, clarity, and peace. Many people chase happiness as if it's a reward waiting at the finish line, but the truth is that it's found in the small, intentional moments we create every day. It's not about grand celebrations or extraordinary achievements. It is about finding contentment in the simple, beautiful rhythm of life. Happiness becomes sustainable when it is practiced, not pursued. Building happiness into your daily routine requires awareness and discipline. It means consciously deciding to see goodness where others see problems, to be kind even when others are not, and to remain grateful regardless of how ordinary the day may seem. The more you practice happiness, the more natural it becomes. It's like training your mind to look for light even when clouds appear. Over time, your perspective shifts. You start appreciating what you already have instead of constantly longing for what's missing. You begin to realize that joy doesn't come from external conditions, but from internal consistency. Happiness, when nurtured daily, becomes a mindset that no situation can easily shake. Small actions are the building blocks of lasting happiness. Taking a few moments each morning to breathe deeply, to think of something you were thankful for, or to smile at someone can set a positive tone for your day. Choosing to respond calmly in a stressful moment, listening without judgment, or offering a simple word of encouragement to another person are all ways to cultivate joy. These moments may seem insignificant, but collectively they shape your emotional well-being. Happiness is not the result of one big decision. It's the result of many small, consistent choices made with awareness and love. When happiness becomes a habit, it changes how you experience challenges. Instead of being easily thrown off balance, you begin to carry an inner stillness that helps you navigate difficulties with grace. You stop waiting for external events to make you feel good and start generating positivity from within. This emotional independence gives you strength. It allows you to remain peaceful even when life is unpredictable. You realize that while circumstances may not always be in your control, your outlook always is. That realization is the heart of emotional freedom and the foundation of daily happiness. Making happiness a habit also strengthens your relationships. When you choose joy every day, you naturally become more patient, understanding, and compassionate toward others. You start to spread warmth without effort. People are drawn to those who radiate calm and positivity because such energy creates comfort and trust. Your happiness begins to inspire others to reflect on their own mindset, and in doing so, you contribute to a circle of positivity that expands far beyond yourself. True happiness is never selfish. It multiplies when it's shared. Practicing happiness daily doesn't mean life will always be easy or free from pain. It simply means you choose not to let hardship define your entire reality. Even in moments of sadness or disappointment, there can be gratitude. Gratitude for lessons learned, for love received, for strength gained. Happiness as a habit allows you to hold space for both joy and struggle, knowing that both are essential parts of being human. It teaches you to find light without denying the shadows, to keep faith when things feel uncertain, and to continue moving forward with hope. The more you live in this awareness, the more peaceful and fulfilled you become. Each day becomes meaningful, not because it's perfect, but because you chose to make it so. You no longer wait for reasons to smile. You create them. You no longer depend on moments of success to feel content. You find satisfaction in progress itself. Happiness stops being something you chase and becomes something you carry within you. When practiced daily, it weaves itself into your character, shaping the way you think, speak, and live. It becomes your natural state, quiet, steady, and unshakable, even when life around you changes. As we close, let me leave you with this thought. Life is too short to wait for happiness to find you. So push yourself. Push your mind to stay positive. Push your heart to stay kind. And push your soul to stay grateful. When you do that every day, happiness will stop being a goal and start being your way of life.